Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome in to Your Home Authority with Bryant Heating and Air on KFOR 1240 and KFOR1240.com. Danny and Reggie from Bryant are here once again answering your questions. And also, we'll talk about our topic today. First off, gentlemen, happy Groundhog Day.
Happy Groundhog Day.
Sounds like winter will end normally, and we won't have to worry about the whole 6 weeks of winter deal.
I think we've had enough winter this week.
Yeah, I think that's more than enough. I think I don't mind the snow. It's just the cold that comes with it. That's the problem.
Yeah, we're not used to this. That's for sure.
Not so much. Well, this is the time of year where we're trying to stay warm, trying to stay comfortable in our homes, and something that Bryant has been doing, the Warm Winter Wish, that is wrapping up here.
We concluded that Monday. And actually what we did at the end of the day, we kind of had people go onto our website and vote, and we had a great response, and we appreciate everyone who voted. But at the end of the day, it was so close, and we kind of forwarded kind of our little program to the Bryant factory, and they kind of stepped up and helped us out, and they says, give a furnace to all three.
What?
All three of them got furnaces.
Holy cow.
We actually got we got the last two installed this week. One of the people didn't even have a furnace that worked, so we actually went out beforehand, and we just couldn't let them go through this cold, so we just went out there and did it.
Wow, unbelievable.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And I'm sure those three families are just mind-boggled right now.
They're warm today.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah, I tell you, and you're right. The week like we've had, boy, I tell you, you kind of forget what it means to be able to just walk in to be comfortable. We take it for granted a lot of times, and not everyone has that luxury. So very, very, very heartwarming story.
Yeah, it was a great feeling, and we helped out three great people, and we will do it again next year.
Next year?
One of them, we had to put a hot water heater in at the same time.
Oh, really?
They could only take one shower, and there was no more hot water inside anymore.
Wow.
So it was a win-win situation.
Now, don't take for granted the luxuries that we have, because not everyone has those, that's for sure. And one of the reasons why we have this show is to learn a little bit more about some of those luxuries. You know, what do we have? Why do we have them? How do they work? Because a lot of times, again, we assume they're there, so they do their thing, whatever, no big deal. We just let them be, and sometimes forget about the little things like maintenance.
Maintenance is so huge. It's just like a car. You just can't
let it run on its own.
That's exactly right.
May not need to change oil, but you definitely need to check it out.
Agreed.
Well, and with that, though, too, Danny, is we always talk about this on the show, is the technology nowadays. It's just unbelievable what is out there when it comes to one's home system, whether it's heating and cooling, whether it's electrical. I mean, you could even get into plumbing with some of the technological advancements that we have out there, and a great opportunity for people to learn a little more about those and just kind of see what Bryant has to offer is the home show that's coming up, not this weekend, of course, but next week from Thursday through Sunday.
That's correct. We'll be at the Lancaster Event Center. We'll have we have a booth set up out there, and we'd love for people to stop by, say hi, ask any questions. It's we love this time of year to talk to people, tell a little bit about what's upcoming, answer any of their questions. We actually have displays out there so they can actually kind of see it, feel it, touch it, and explain it to them. We'll be talking about HVAC. We'll be talking about geothermal. We'll be talking about lighting. Talking about plumbing products, you name it, we'll be talking about it. And then also on Saturday, we have Greg Sharp's going to be in our booth playing Husker Trivia, and you got a chance to win some Husker tickets along with some other prizes. So that'll be pretty exciting. And again, we'd love to have you stop by and say hi.
I might have to stop out there because KFOR is going to be out there all day Saturday.
Okay.
I actually had to go around and say, you're going to be there. What time do you want? First dibs, go. And everyone filled out of time. So as soon as we're done with the show, I get to pack a few things up, and I'm headed over there around noon. So get to hang out with. I'll have to stop by the booth and check everything out.
Yeah, that's pretty much us. After the show, we'll be there before, and we'll be there after. And
so this is going to be the break next week.
Yeah, yes. Pretty much. But we do have a special treat for our callers today. We got a couple tickets to the home show for next week. So,
very cool.
So if you got any questions or whatnot, give us a call, and we'll put you in that drawing for those tickets.
Yeah, if you have a question about your heating or cooling system, or about today's topic, mini splits. Feel free to give us a call, 402-489-1240. One lucky person will win those tickets to go to the show Thursday through Sunday next week. A lot of great stuff in that show as well. If you've never been to it, this is one of those, it's an idea generator like none other. You walk out of there wanting to do everything.
That's exactly right.
So there's a lot of great information there. But let's talk about today's topic, a mini split. And we hit on it really quick at the end of the show last week, but let's refresh people's minds in case they missed out on that. What is a mini split?
Well, one thing I'd like to get out in front here is it's not a window unit like you would go to a motel room or anything like that.
Okay, that's good to know.
This unit, you have an indoor unit that mounts up on the wall. When it's operating, you can't hardly hear this thing operate. But it has a condensing unit that actually sits outside. You could use them for additions that you put onto your house, and maybe you've just put in a new furnace and air conditioner, and it's not large enough for the addition that you're putting on. You could actually use that unit for out into that room. It's a great choice as far as trying to take care of the comfort level in there, without having to take your old unit out, put a new one in that needs to be larger to take care of the addition that you're putting on.
I know one thing you mentioned last week, and they're very popular with sunrooms.
Sunrooms are a great way to do that, because there's so many people. We'd be surprised how many people have sunrooms. They can only use it in the spring and the fall and during the summertime. And then in the summertime, it's
still
usually
gets a little
so hot that you can't stand to be out there. So by putting these units in, it makes it a four-season room that you can use all the time. People go out there to watch TV. It's just adds another portion to your house right out of the gate.
So obviously they heat and cool.
Yes, they do.
It'll
both. Heat during the wintertime. Now, you can get them cooling only, but it's better to actually get you on a heat
both?
pump. You could have heating and cooling. It's very quiet. You don't have to go over and turn your TV up like you do on some of the window units when they're running. It's very, very quiet and very economical to operate at the same time.
Well, and like you said, these are when you walk into a hotel room, these are not those big old honkers below the windowsill. That's not what we're talking about here. Those are completely different. These actually, I've seen some pictures of them in the past, and these actually look like they hang up on the wall up near the ceiling.
Yes, they have different applications that you can do with this. You can hang it on the wall. You can actually put it up in the ceiling and allow it to blow the air downward, and then have your cold air through the center part of it. There's a lot of different applications for it. You can do it on a sidewall if you wanted to, and you don't want to go up on the upper part. We can put it on the down low next to the floor. It just makes a very good piece of equipment to operate. Those units, they use what they call a DC inverter compressor. So whatever the capacity that it needs to heat in there, it'll ramp itself up and down to control the temperature inside the room. It won't run at full capacity all the time.
That way it doesn't get too hot, too cold, however you have it set.
Well, it controls the amount of energy you're having to use to actually try to heat or cool that area or that space.
So it's an efficient unit.
Very.
Yeah, instead of shutting on and off, it just, like Reggie said, it ramps up and down. And if you're curious of what one might look like in your home, we put a picture up on our Facebook page, facebook.com, Bryant Lincoln. Kind of shows a unit in a bedroom there. So if you'd like an idea what one looks like, take a look.
Now, I bet you have seen this, because I'm guessing you've probably installed a couple mini splits in your day.
Oh, yes.
Anyone ever install them into a garage, say for a work area, or maybe they use the garage not just for their vehicles, but they entertain?
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that in that same area. If you wanted to have your garage heated and cooled, this same application would work out there.
Oh, that would make working in the garage, do some woodworking or anything else during the winter or summer, a heck of a lot easier.
Yep. I had one gentleman, he did a lot of stuff out in his garage, and we put not only one in his sunroom, but he also wanted one in his garage so he could go out there during the wintertime and actually work out there.
Yeah, no kidding. 402-489-1240. That is our phone number if you have a question about mini splits or about your HVAC system in general as well. We'd be happy to help you out. And again, one lucky person who calls, we will do a drawing at the end of the show, and we will pick a winner of some home show tickets that, again, will be at the Lancaster Event Center next week, Thursday through Sunday. So if you have a question, give us a call. We are here to help. We're going to take a break, come back with more about mini splits right after this on KFOR. Welcome back to the show, Your Home Authority with Bryant Heating and Air on KFOR 1240 and KFOR1240.com. Danny and Reggie are in from Bryant, and we are answering your questions. 402-489-1240. Now is the time to call in. We're here until 11:30, so we're halfway through the program here. We're talking about mini splits. Those basically mini AC furnaces that you can put into a single room to help heat it, maybe a sunroom, garage, or you did a little expanding on the house, and, well, golly, that furnace just isn't strong enough anymore to get into that extra room, and you need to find a way to keep it cool during the summer, keep it warm during the winter. A mini split is a very, very good option for you. We were kind of talking about the size of these. Now, my question is, can you use them for multiple rooms, or how big of a room will these work for? Because I'm guessing you get too big and it'll work, but just not as well as maybe you want it to.
You can actually use these units to do a whole house application. We have a zone system or multi-unit system that will go up to 8 different rooms that you can actually use one condenser outside with 8 different heads or zones inside the house that you hook this up to back to the existing unit.
You know, that kind of goes back to our conversation last week about zoning. That would give you the ability to control every room individually, because everyone's a little different. You might have the daughter that likes things a little warmer, the son likes things a little bit cooler. You know, the husband and wife wanted a different thing. The living room's got to be a different thing. The kitchen's probably a little cooler because you got the oven going, and you'd be able to really, really customize the whole house.
You could. Yes, you could. And it's nice. Now, you know, and a lot of those, you know, when we do those, we do a full heat loss and heat gain on everything that we do. So we make sure that we get the correct size piece of equipment in there to handle their needs. When you get into a single zone unit, on the hyperheat units that we have, it will get down to minus 14. It'll heat the house down to minus 14 degrees.
Wow.
It's because it has that DC inverter compressor in it, it will ramp itself up trying to maintain the heating or cooling temperatures no matter whatever the temperature is outside.
A few weeks ago, we had a gentleman from LES join us talking about the new rebates. Would this fall under the rebate program with LES with a
Yes,
split?
It does. Yes. On single zone units, they can get up as high as 23 and 24 SEER rating. That's that seasonal energy efficiency rating. And they do qualify for the rebate. You know, and the tonnage on these goes all the way down to a half-ton unit, all the way up to about a 3.5 ton unit that you can put in.
Real quick, because we've mentioned that a couple times in the past, explain to people, when you say a half-ton unit or 3.5 ton unit, what does that term mean?
Well, there's 12,000 BTUs in each ton of cooling.
Okay.
And what we do is we run a manual J to tell us how many BTUs we're actually going to have inside this house or inside each room that has to be taking place. So when we're sizing a piece of equipment like this, we need to know what the BTUs are that we need to calculate for inside that room. So we take into consideration all the windows, doors, insulation factors in the walls, ceiling, even underneath if it's a crawl space, if there's insulation down there. We take all that stuff into consideration, so when we put that piece of equipment in there, if it only needs 12,000 BTUs for that room, we can put a 12,000 BTU unit in there, a head that will go up on that wall. If it only needs 6,000, we can put a 6,000 unit in there. There's some rooms we've had to use like 2 different size of units to make it operate to get the amount of BTUs that we want in that area.
So now this question, of course, it will greatly depend on the home, but would it make more sense or be more efficient to have a single furnace unit, or would it be more efficient to have maybe multiple mini splits in a home?
Well, the multi-zone unit, it'll heat down to about 7 degrees outside.
Okay.
And it's not that it stops heating at that point in time. The efficiency starts dropping off because you've got so many different heads that it's trying to take care of.
Sure.
On a single-zone unit, though, it'll run all the way down to minus 14 degrees to heat the house outside.
Okay. Now, what about utility costs? Compare a conventional or heat pump system.
Most people that I've had that put these units in, they see very minimal amount of increase in cost of their electric bill as far as operation, mainly because of that DC inverter unit. You have an ECM motor that's on the inside in the indoor evaporator coil. To the ear, you can't even hear this unit hardly even run. Plus, it has louvers on the front side of it that will move it from left to right and up and down, which makes the comfort level of this unit very, very good. There's also a sensor that's on there that'll actually go from one side of the room to the other to see what this temperature is. And if not, it'll hold those dampers to one direction to try to get more cooling over there if it needs to, or more heating.
Well, these things are smart.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible when you see one of those. It just kind of searches out the hot and cool spots, and all of a sudden you'll see those little lures move, and it'll shoot some air that way, and then when it satisfies it, it'll either ramp itself down or just keep searching and tries to keep that room as evenly as possible.
Now, when you say these are not very noisy, I mean, what does that mean? Not very. I mean, is this like maybe a small little fan that you hear a fan on a table kind of thing, or are we? I mean, what?
They're much quieter than just you and I sitting here talking, or even it'd have to be a real small fan that doesn't move very fast.
Wow,
they're very quiet. You have to the outdoor unit. You'd have to walk up and actually hear it. Walk up to it outside to make sure that it's actually running. And it may be running and you don't know it.
And again, Danny, you said that these don't necessarily turn off. They just kind of slow down, maybe not as much air coming out, and then when it feels like, okay, I need to pick up the pace, it'll just ramp up a little bit.
Yep, constantly modulating, and that's where you get some of that energy efficiency. You're not turning off, turning on, because when the units turn on and turn off, that's kind of where your peak energy usage is you get that hit when it turns on, and this way it just kind of ramps itself down, ramps itself back up to the needs of the room. And some of that goes back to the sensor that Reggie was talking about a little bit, that it's constantly scanning that room for hot and cold spots, and it's adjusting accordingly. We talk about the technology. This is evolving technology.
Now, what about like thermostats for them? I mean, obviously, you maybe want to control one or the other. Is it like a simple wall thermostat, or how does that work?
Actually, it's a remote control.
Oh, cool!
And it's almost
anytime
like
a guy has a remote control, that's like, oh, fun toys.
It's like your remote control that you have. You can be sitting in a chair and you want to change the temperature. You don't even have to get out of the chair to go change it. You can take the remote control, you point it towards the unit, change the temperature, and it does its thing.
Well, that would make sense. Like if you did have a sunroom, maybe you don't use it all the time, then you can keep it low. So you're like during the winter, keep it down very low or even off, maybe just to so you're not using that energy for a wasted area. But if you have people coming over, you can turn it on, have it warmed up, ready to go, and it's set.
Very few people during the wintertime ever turn them off out there. Usually once they've got it out there, they find out how nice it is out there. Because a lot of people live out in that sunroom. You'd be surprised how many during... and they've got a place inside where they could have had their TV room was already set up, but as soon as they can use that sunroom,
that's where they're at.
That's their TV room. That's where they're at, probably 70 to 80% of the time then.
Can't blame them, especially if you can keep it comfortable with a mini split, that's for sure. We got to take one more break in the show. 402-489-1240 is our number. We'll be back with more with Bryant Heating and Air on KFOR right after this. Final segment of the show. Your Home Authority with Bryant Heating and Air. We're talking about mini splits today on the program. Just about 3 minutes left in the show here as we wrap things up. And real quick, again, with the home show coming up next weekend, if anyone wants to check one of these mini splits out and see it functioning, feel the air, not hear a darn thing come from it, you can check it out next week.
We actually have a working model that's going to be in our booth, so you can come on by and take a look and play with that remote control or whatever you want to do.
I can't wait to check it out.
I know you'll be there.
I'll be there. I'll stop by. I'll take a look at this thing. Well, if people are interested in these and they want to get them installed, what's the usual life expectancy for a mini split?
Oh, that mini split, it could last 10 to 15, if not 20 years, depending on, it really depends on preventive maintenance. If you take care of it and have it serviced on a regular basis, you can add 5 to 7 years of life expectancy of any piece of equipment.
And there's that maintenance word again.
Yes.
Don't just put it up and forget it.
Nope. And it is the first of the month, so just kind of a reminder everybody to check that air filter.
Oh, good point. It's a very good point. Get that taken care of, too. One other question with these, when it comes to installation, now we were talking about how they're usually higher up, but how are they installed? I mean, is it just drill to the hole, put it in the hole in the back of there and outside, and there you go?
Actually, we have, once you put the unit on the wall, we try to get it to an exterior wall so the condensing unit can set outside. And we have what they call line hide that sets on the outside. It looks just like the drain trough for your spouts for rainwater. And what it does, it hides all the lines and electrical inside of that, and it looks very presentable on the outside. Looks very neat. Then we hook everything up. The two indoor units communicate together. The power has to go to the condensing unit first, and it those two units talk back and forth to each other what they need to do.
Does this fall under the 1-year test drive?
Yes.
It does. Well, explain the 1-year test drive again.
If you buy a piece of equipment from us in any way, shape, or form, you have 12 months to decide whether or not you've made the right decision with Bryant, or we'll refund your money 100%.
More questions, Danny. Where can they go? How can they get a hold of Bryant?
They can give us a call at 402-467-1111. They can go to our website, BryantLincoln.com. They can get in touch with us on our Facebook page, Facebook.com, Bryant Lincoln. They can give us a call on radio show.
There you go. And if you want to win some cool stuff, just text Bryant to 58885 or go to the website. And don't forget to follow on Facebook. Next week, we're going to talk about HVACs for new home construction. A lot of that going on. Now's a good time to really start thinking about it. If you're into building a new house, now is the time to do that. So, gentlemen, we'll do it again. Enjoy the home show next week, and we'll see you next Saturday.
See ya.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks.